From our studios around the world, this is Eat Well, Travel Better, the Business of Food Travel podcast. Every month, we bring you the world's culinary tourism industry professionals and share with you strategies, tactics, and information that help make you a more effective leader, communicator, and professional in our culinary tourism industry. I'm your host, Eric Wolf. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to episode 57. Today, we will be speaking with Jose Gonzalez. Jose is the chef and founder of Al Mercat, a fine dining restaurant in Costa Rica. During the pandemic, Jose shut down his fine dining concept and moved his entire operation into Costa Rica's mountain region. Every cloud has a silver lining, and while it can be jarring to be forced to shut down your dream, Jose found a new and even better dream that awaited him and his family with a new restaurant concept that he is currently offering in the beautiful mountains of Costa Rica. An advocate for sustainability on all levels, Jose is also recognized as the founder of the Costa Rica Edible Country concept. Jose, welcome to the Business of Food Travel podcast, and thank you for being on the show today.
Jose, hey, thanks for joining us today. I am really excited to learn more about you because you live in a very beautiful country, Costa Rica.
For sure, man. Lovely country, amazing food, great people all around. We have a great lifestyle here in Costa Rica. For me, it's just a blessing to live here and just to be able to cook in this beautiful country.
Indeed. Tell us about your business, Al Mercat. I see that you've recently changed gears a little bit, so maybe tell us what you were doing and what you're planning on doing now.
Yeah, man. At the beginning of when I was like 20 years old, I went to law school. Then went 5 years to law school and decided to change into cooking, and went to France, studied for 2 years, and then stayed in France for almost 5, just getting some experience. And I always say that I stayed in France not to learn how to cook, but just to learn how to eat in a way. So it was a great experience for me, understanding a little bit of what food really is and the culture in France. I came back to Costa Rica in 2011, was a little bit lost, didn't want to open a restaurant, but at the end I opened it, and with a huge success and with the support of my beautiful family. So I started Al Mercat just based on my experience in France, and the concept evolved a little bit because I started as a fine dining restaurant, which was again my school in France and all the experience that I had in France. I was happy, but as I started to notice that fine dining wasn't our way. So I shifted a little bit the gears and just started doing like just beautiful, a little bit more casual food, which was really great for the public and people in general. People really started loving it. And I started loving cooking this type of food. So Al Mercat, yeah, it started as a fine dining establishment, and then it evolved a little bit, which people took in a really good way in Costa Rica. We started working with my family's farm, which it's an urban family in San Jose. Worked for about 9 years, had great experience. I think we were like pioneers in the food industry in Costa Rica all around. We did a lot of great things. For me, it was a big learning curve because, again, I'm a cook. I'm a chef or a cook or whatever, but not a businessman. And nowadays you have to have those skills to run a business, right? Even more in the third world. Great experience overall, just trying to work with whatever I had in hand. Our business was focused on working with the farm produce. And in Costa Rica, we have a big farmers market all around Costa Rica. So we took that farmers market and we try to utilize everything on farmers markets. I was doing the shopping in San Jose, which those markets are happening every Sunday, every Saturday. It was a great experience overall. People loved the food, and we were trying to build a business based on whatever we have around us. And that's where the concept of edible country came in to work with us as a really touristic country. We saw in tourism and in this concept of edible country gold, actually. We started working with tourism a lot, like from the 5th year of the restaurant. We started working with tourism in a really serious way. And that's where we shifted again. I'm a big believer in change and evolution. So we started evolving as a restaurant. Even the first year, as I told you, and then the 4th, 5 years, we started getting hands-on in the tourism business. I gotta say it changed everything for me as a businessman. As I saw the business, even the revenue for the restaurant and the earnings for the restaurant came up, obviously. So we saw a great opportunity in business. Yeah, Al Mercat was changing. That was like at the middle of the whole business, at the fifth year. And then from that, we've been evolving. We worked 5 more years in total, like 9 years. And when the pandemic hit, obviously we had to close. Everybody closed temporarily. But then I moved to the mountains in Costa Rica, where I'm living now, where I'm working now. And I kind of fell in love. I kind of needed a break from the restaurant industry. I was a little burned out. I was managing my restaurant, but kind of by myself. So I had to cook, you know how it works. So you have to cook, you have to manage, you have to do a lot of stuff. So I was happy to do it, but I got a little burned out. My creative juices were a little bit down. So I decided to close the restaurant just because I wanted a pause for me and wanted again an evolution. And I thought that closing the restaurant was the best thing to do. So yeah, like at the ninth year and with the pandemic, we closed the restaurant. But this was really good for us because it gave me time to think. It gave me time to reevaluate what I wanted as a chef, as a cook, as a businessman. It gave me again these creative juices to start thinking about a new project, which is Al Mercadota, the project that we are managing now here in the highlands of Costa Rica, which is a new concept, and working with strictly produce from the highlands, which is really amazing for us.
Yeah, I think we like to say here in the association that every cloud has a silver lining. So it took the pandemic to force you to realize that you were working too hard, that you were burning out, and that you
Yeah,
needed to shift gears. And now you're in a beautiful place.
for sure, man. I'm in a really, really special place. So I came here. We were doing basically nothing because we were in pandemic. So with my now partner in the hotel and the restaurant, we were doing nothing basically because we were all stopped because of the pandemics. So we're starting just throwing some ideas and working on what we wanted to do after the pandemics. But everything evolved at a really nice pace. We didn't force anything, or so it was really, really cool. It took us 2 years. Actually, we just started with the project. We were building the project. We didn't knew we were building the project, but we were building it in a way, just developing our relationship with my partner, understanding the food, having a investigation process here in the region, understanding the food that's growing, all the producers, the seasons, even the seasons here in it, because it changes because we are 2,500 meters over sea. So things here grow different and they have different growing seasons. So understanding all, I got to the conclusion that maybe it could be very interesting to cook here. And I kind of defined it as the best region to cook in Costa Rica because you have the best of both worlds. You have the best of the tropical regions in Costa Rica where you got papayas, you got pineapples, you got all this tropical deliciousness growing all over. And you have all the produce from the highlands, which are apples, and you have different types of berries and all sorts of good stuff growing, avocado, coffee. So the best of both worlds. That's why I called La Zona de los Santos, which translates like the region, the Saints region, basically the best region to cook in Costa Rica because you have everything around and from both worlds. So I started developing my idea. We started talking with my now partner in the business. I felt ready, like I wasn't burned out anymore. I gave myself like good couple of years just to travel and to fall in love with cooking again and to fall in love with the industry again and understand what I wanted to do. For me, this was a really special process because I started knowing myself and respecting myself and my ideas, which is really important for life. Understanding what I wanted to do with my life and this next step. So these 2 years, I was working on me, which was, it's been the most important process of my life, I think. This working on myself let me conclude on opening again my restaurant and just cooking with love and understanding what I wanted to do in life again. So it was really meaningful this couple of last years for me.
Sure. Well, when we were talking before the show, you were saying that one of your biggest concerns is that the chefs and cooks don't really make an effort to understand the relationship between food and their bodies, which you were just
Mhm.
explaining, and how food can make you grow as a person and in spirit. Could you talk a little bit more about that? Because I think that's a really insightful and different view about food and what food means to us as people, to us as consumers, and also to a country and its culinary culture.
For me, this is the base of knowing yourself, because I always tell people, yeah, you come to a restaurant and that's like a special occasion for you to eat. But this is not the regular life. This is not your real life. You come to a restaurant as a special occasion and you eat food from a person that's a professional and that has cooked this for you in a special manner. But then you have to go back home and you have to be with your family and you have to be with your loved ones and you have to eat, and you have to eat in a proper way, and you have to eat in a way that makes you feel good. And people and chefs don't understand that. They think just that food is just like instant gratification, that you just feel like, it's delicious, but then you don't know how it's going to feel in your body, and how it's going to make you feel in the hours after that you enjoy the food.
Today's podcast is brought to you by the World Food Travel Association's Culinary Capitals program. Did you know that 72% of travelers choose a destination based on its food and drink? Now is the perfect time for smaller, lesser-known destinations to get on the radar of the world's food lovers, but travelers can't find the next great food destination if they don't know anything about it. The Culinary Capitals program helps put smaller destinations on the map and keeps them top of mind for food and beverage-loving travelers. Get in touch with us at help@worldfoodtravel.org and learn how your destination can become a culinary capital today.
My message has always been that food is just not the restaurant food that you see in the magazines, or you see me as a chef, or you enjoy in restaurants. Food and real relationship with food is when you develop a relationship with your body and you understand what makes you feel good. People have to develop this relationship with food to understand this. And developing this relationship with your food, it's cooking. So people don't have a relationship with their body and the food because they don't cook. And I'm not saying that you should become a professional chef or anything. It's just having, I don't know, some tortillas with some eggs at your house, the basic stuff, maybe a small sandwich, a fruit salad, just whatever feels good in your body. Cooking and developing this relationship with food is so important for humanity, for me, and understanding your body, understanding what's good in your body, and just developing that relationship through cooking. It's really important. And chefs nowadays, yeah, we have this relationship with food, but nowadays we are like celebrities in a way, and food, it's like this prize that is in restaurants and then you get whenever you go to a restaurant, but people don't know that you have those treasures in your house, and people don't know that you have those treasures within you. You have those powers of learning how to feel good and how to nurture your body by yourself at your house, doing food and just developing that relationship, that sacred relationship with food, just by doing some simple things at the comfort of your house and just understanding food through yourself.
So no chocolate cake at 8 in the morning?
You could do it, no worries, man. If it's good for you and your body understands it, and it's all good. As I'm saying, we're all different persons, we're all different organisms, so it's all good.
Let's talk a little bit about special diets. As you know, the phenomena of special diets, whether they're elective, so people choose just to do it because that's their preference, or they're medically necessary, so a gluten allergy or a seafood allergy, for example. This phenomena of special diets has really increased exponentially in the past few years. Some of the chefs I've talked to in the past, they kind of roll their eyes when they hear the discussion of special diets. They think that everybody is doing it just because it's trendy, or you're trying to run a restaurant, a dining room, and you've got 60 seats at the restaurant and there's 60 different permutations of each dish that you have to cook, and it drives you crazy. Medically required needs aside, what's your take on the whole special diet thing? Do you think we've gone overboard a little bit with it?
Yeah, and sometimes it is, but sometimes it doesn't. So I understand people myself. In my body, it's gluten and dairy. It's not well received. There's a couple of takes on this. When I am going out, if a chef friend or some chef is serving me certain stuff, and I'm going to eat deliciously and I'm going to enjoy it, sometimes I'll do an exception and I'll eat, and I don't care. If it's really a disease or something medical that it's gonna affect you, I'm totally okay with it and I will change it. I don't mind. Restaurant wise, I understand chefs because we build this menu with a lot of effort. We build this menu with a lot of love, and people just came and instantly they change stuff. And maybe this stuff is not gonna taste the same because we build it thinking about those flavors and those combinations. And if you take one element, maybe it's not gonna taste the same. So I can understand the frustration of the chefs, and I've been in those situations too. We've all been in those situations too. So I kind of understand that. But we have to be flexible and create food in a way that we can understand people too. We already know, and that's really capable persons and chefs and businessmen. We already know that these people are going to come to our restaurants. And in a way, I feel flattered because they want to come to us and they want to enjoy our meals and our creations. So in a way, I create food. This is from my point of view. In my way, we have to create food for these people in a way. So you already have to be creating. And for me, it's really simple because I eat like this. So these dishes, like I don't know, vegetarian or vegan dishes or non-dairy dishes, they come out just naturally to me because I like this kind of food, but I still use dairy and I still use other ingredients that I know people are gonna take out. But I already have thought about the possible substitutions that you could do for these dishes. So I think in this time of our lives and this time in society, so in this time we just have to create menus that can evolve easily and that you can change in an easy way, just build from that. I understand people. I understand that we are made of different bodies and that people can just change food in a way. But this is good. This could even make dishes better, can evolve your food. Understanding different points of views can make food good. So even though you created a dish in a certain way, you can learn a lot from these people. I totally understand people that have all these crazy diets. Honestly, I understand some of them, and again, I understand chefs too. Some of them are just doing it for trend, but some of them are doing it because they understand their bodies, because they want to have a healthier life and they want to live a peaceful gastrointestinal life. Because living sick, because that makes you sick, wow, it's the worst. And I've seen friends that just change, even me, change from a diet abruptly, and the changes are big. So we have the right to live good and to live a good, to have good health. So these changes are good.
Yeah, I do understand the perspective from the consumers. I know that my body is happier when I don't eat gluten or if I reduce the amount of meat that I eat. But
Totally.
at the same time, if you're a chef and you like you said, if you create something and the flavors are designed to go together, and then everybody comes in and starts changing it. But I think one of the nice things that I've seen is that you have this surge in, well, a lot of vegan restaurants, but also in plant-based cuisine, the plant-based cuisine concept. And I
Yeah,
think what I'm witnessing is that you can have plant-based cuisine that is delicious, that tastes really good, but it
for
doesn't
sure.
have to have gluten or dairy or some of the other things that cause allergens in people. And I think that what needs to happen is I think we as consumers or we as a race of people, human beings, we need to understand maybe the traditional ways of eating were not the most healthy. You know, you're not supposed to sit down with a half kilo of bread and eat it all at once. That's gonna do some serious damage on your GI tract.
For sure. Again, and understanding this type of stuff, it's super important. I'm really on board with people that are really, I don't know, that they get into this type of stuff and they want to understand their bodies. Because again, you have the right to live well. And living well is understanding your body.
So are you taking that plant-based cuisine into your work then in your new
Yeah,
mountain concept?
Totally. Plant-based cuisine, it's always been a big part of my cuisine. Number one, because in Costa Rica, our diversity is based on veggie and fruit. So this concept of edible country that I developed is based on you being in Costa Rica and having available all these beautiful produce all around you. And edible country is that you go out on your garden, a small farm, even on the streets of San Jose, and you can find food. And what I'm talking about food is you can find guavas, you can find manzana ajena, which is a typical kind of an apple from the region, and all sorts of stuff growing on the streets, again, on the farms, on your gardens. So edible country, it's a beautiful concept where you just go and go all over Costa Rica, and you can stop everywhere and you're just harvesting food. This is why my food, it's always has a big plant-based foundation. I really enjoy eating fruit and plants, and I know it's not the only possibility to make food, but again, we have to be centered and we have to be rational. And being rational, it's understanding your surroundings. And here in Costa Rica, and in this beautiful edible country, you have fruits and veggie all over. So my food, it's always been going in that direction. Even though I serve protein, we serve fish, we serve certain meats, I would have to say that my menu is always vegetable driven. And my lifestyle has been always vegetable driven because that's what you have around. I always say to tourism and people coming from other parts of the world here to visit us, you could have a beautiful lifestyle here in Costa Rica. And I always say, if you come to Costa Rica, you can live a great lifestyle based on this edible country. You can have a great living, taking advantage of all this beautiful produce that you have in your garden, in any farm that you visit here in Costa Rica, and in all these beautiful farmers markets that are all over our country.
What would you say to someone who doesn't cook in a plant-based cuisine or vegetarian or vegan? Maybe might be familiar with it, but they just don't cook that way. And maybe they argue that the changing the menu or changing the recipes so severely is really altering the culinary history, the culinary culture of your ancestors. What would you say to them? Would you say that it's time for a change, that everything needs to change, or how would you react?
It's all good. I value change. I value different perspectives. So for me, it's all good. If they come with, I don't know, a twist on a really regional recipe, I won't mind. I appreciate this because changes are good. Even though their recipes for 100 years, there's been traditional recipes for 100 years, there's gonna stay like that. This is just an interpretation of certain person, and it's really valuable for me. Even though maybe it's not even good, but the person tried. I always cherish and value change and evolution. So different perspectives are good for me. You have to respect traditions in a way, but the traditions are only that. They're stayed like that for 100 years because a lot of people like them, and they're gonna still be like that.
I guess it's important just to keep in mind that things are always changing, things are
Yeah,
always evolving, and
totally.
maybe the way that your grandmother made some cookies in the past or something was really special to you, and you don't ever want to change that, and that's okay. But at the same time, the rest of society is changing too. Some people won't want to change, other people will, and they'll continue to innovate, like what you're doing with your cooking.
That's it, sir. Evolution, it's a big part of my life. I actually see it in my personal life. So how come I wouldn't like to evolve as a chef or as a cook or let people evolve? For me, that's life, constant change, resilience, and trying to understand whatever life throws you. Food is the same thing for me. It's just a beautiful aspect of life, trying to understand it, trying to live with it, and just trying to adapt and evolve every day.
So you talked a little bit before about this concept of the edible country,
Yeah.
and I'm just wondering, are you turning that into a brand, or is that something that you're known for in Costa Rica? How is this
Yeah,
becoming your business model?
I kind of had this brand. Al Mercato is already a brand. I always strengthen it with some of these phrases that I haven't done it like on purpose. It's just popped out whenever I'm on an investigation process or I'm doing some research or I'm in a mountain or I'm in a street in San Jose at the city. just watching fresh produce grow. So basically, yeah, we've turned it in a small brand, even with the tourism board of Costa Rica, which I help a lot. I always tend to this to be my motto or my brand in a way. So because I believe in it more than a brand, it's something I believe in it. But it's a catchy phrase, obviously. So yeah, in social media and all this stuff, we're starting to develop this concept. Actually, it was going to be a kind of a TV show at some point, but it didn't really work out, and I didn't want that kind of attention. So we shifted our directions in another way. But yeah, edible country for me, it's a really powerful phrase. It's a really powerful way to sell in a good way our country to tourism. A very, very powerful concept that people really embrace and love. And they are here, they understand it, and they can live it. It becomes even more powerful. It's just saying to people, look, this is how we live. This is our lifestyle. Maybe you want to be part of this lifestyle too. You want to, I don't know, maybe as an expat or as a person that want to come to live to Costa Rica, you can enjoy. You want to have a great lifestyle. Food is really important for you, so you want to come here and understand and enjoy this kind of living here in Costa Rica. That for a person that wants to come, for people that just come and visit Costa Rica for certain days, for several days, it's just a powerful concept that they can apply while traveling Costa Rica. And the problem with tourism coming is that they will be offered the same stuff in every hotel, in every Airbnb or place that you stay. Rice, beans in the morning with the same type of fruit. This is actually, this is something that I talk with my team, and I'm always telling them we have to differentiate from everyone. We have to be different, and it's not that difficult at all, because people in the morning are just giving you rice, beans, eggs, and the same fruits: papaya, pineapple, what else? Papaya, pineapple, and melon, maybe even fruits that are not in season. And for a tourist, this can become number one in your body, having beans every morning or even in the afternoon, because I'm pretty sure they're gonna give you more beans through the day. It's gonna block your stomach. Basically, you're not used to this kind of diet. We're trying to change this with this whole concept of edible country, diversifying our food. You want people to come to Costa Rica and, yes, obviously have rice and beans one or two times in your trip, but then you can offer them more than 350 types of fruits, more than 350 types of different veggies and wild food that you can forage in the woods and stuff. So we've been trying to insert this concept of edible country, not just for us, but to everyone that we cross ways, because for us it's really important to show this diversity and this rich way of eating to the people that are coming here, and that they can enjoy this food variety in their diet and in their food.
Now, Jose, you said that you were doing some work with the tourism industry there in Costa Rica. How do you work with them, and what kind of projects do you work on together?
Well, we started working like at the middle of our 10-year life as our Mercat restaurant in San Jose, like at the 5th year of our existence in San Jose. Obviously, our product, our food, wasn't directed to tourism in a way, but people from the tourism industry started coming in, and I got it that our product was totally directed to tourism, because we were serving Costa Rican food in a different manner, in a different way, with these beautiful ingredients. So I said to myself, this could be a really good business for us. Just the time that I got that in my mind, all the tourism agencies started like kind of coming to us and just making business with us, just bringing us clients and stuff. I kind of shifted into the tourism world. I said, okay, man, let's do this. Let's focus on tourism. This is giving us good money. It's a good revenue. We're starting to develop. We're starting to give something back, because people come here and people learn. They taste, obviously, but they learn of our food. So more than just giving food to people, we're delivering a message, which became more powerful at the 5th year of Almercat. And I shifted my efforts to bringing more tourism to our restaurant. So I started developing relationships with tourism agencies, with the Tourism Board of Costa Rica, and everything just kind of shifted in that way. So I was really happy about that, and it just developed from that. Then after this, when the pandemics came, actually we had to cancel more than, I don't know, 250 reservations that we have at the time. 220 was going to be like the best year for tourism in Costa Rica. We were at that high in our tourism industry. We were having a great years. Everything came down, obviously. Everything broke down. It was a great lesson, obviously. It was a great lesson. We can't depend just on one thing. So it was really good for me. Again, pandemic came, we stopped, but I was still focused on taking again this business, the tourism business, whenever I was going to open a new business. And here in the highlands of Costa Rica, it's the perfect place because it's a place that it's been developing as a tourism destiny. Because here people, they don't have the necessity like in other communities in Costa Rica to go to tourism as their way of income. Because here it's a pretty prosperous region. Agriculture gives a really has a really big impact on farmers here, coffee plantations, avocado plantations. So let's say people live really good here. They don't need it, the tourism industry to live. But now it's developing a lot, and thank God, because some of the towns in Costa Rica that have been developing through tourism, maybe they lose some focus on what is important. But here it's different. Here we really focus on what is important, that it's food and that it's our natural resources. So we are really happy that this developing or this evolution has been from a different view or for a different standpoint that other regions in Costa Rica. So for me, trying to develop this region tourist wise, it's gonna be amazing. We're pioneers in this industry here in Costa Rica and in gastronomic industry. That's why I certified as a tourism guide, because we are developing this whole business based in tourism, gastronomic business. I want to become the first or whatever, not the first, but a guide that it's specialized in tourism. So I'm a gastronomic specialized tour guide, just trying to develop this business from different point of view. This is have given us a whole way more perspective of how we can develop our business in tourism wise and combine with food. And yeah, it's just a different part of life, understanding that we can be more just than chefs. Because I gotta be honest, I get a little bit bored just doing the same thing. That was part of just getting a little bit burned out with Almercat, just having to cook and to manage a restaurant. I love doing different things. And part of coming to the highlands and developing this new business of tourism, it's that I'm focused, yeah, in the restaurant, but I'm developing other businesses in the tourism area, which I really enjoy. And again, guiding people and just showing our country in a different way. So that's really important to me. And yeah, food tourism, it's converting our country and it's converting our region in general.
Well, we need to wrap up soon, Jose, but for our last question, I would like to ask you about your thoughts on social media, because I learned that you are not very impressed with social media. And in fact, you don't have a LinkedIn profile. So could you explain how you approach this in today's modern world where everything seems to be driven by social media?
Well, that's a cool topic. Like everything in life, I love balance, obviously, and we gotta understand that social media is part of our lives now. If I wouldn't have my business in social media, it wouldn't have the same success, obviously, as we have had. But at the same time, developing again, as with your body, we were talking before, you have to develop a healthy relationship with social media. For me, in my particular case, I just see it as a nice tool for certain things, but that's it. You have to be respectful with yourself and understand when to stop and how to develop a relationship with social media. Most of the times it's just like devouring you. You're just too consumed in this stuff. Again, it's really powerful if you want to show stuff. Again, if you want to show your business, you want to show the research you're doing, that's a really powerful thing. But when it gets when you get caught in social media in a bad way, that's when things start going down. Just having a healthy relationship, you got to show whatever you got to show something of real content. real content, it's not showing your face, showing your outfit, showing that stuff, even though I respect all that stuff. I don't know, that fashion industry or whatever industries are showing in the social media. I just believe on good content, showing good stuff and showing content that will make people grow in a way. It's okay if you want to have a relationship with your TikTok, your LinkedIn. Actually, LinkedIn, I like it because it's like a business kind of social media, but I'm more focusing on Instagram, which is like the main social media here in Costa Rica. I just believe in not overusing the tool because it's a nice tool, obviously, and just offering nice content. Again, content that it's going to make people grow. I have my social media, but I just follow things that will make me grow and will make me learn something, because I don't know, maybe 80% of whatever it's offered in Instagram or social media, it's trash. I gotta be honest. But it's in you. If you wanna learn, and as it is in life, I'll just block or I'll just follow people that make me grow. Social media is about that, just understanding, as in life, who are your friends. And in social media, yeah, you have friends, but friends that make you grow. You don't want to be with a toxic person or a person that is just talking about stupid stuff all the time. You want to be with people that make you grow. And that's how I see it in social media. You gotta be, or you gotta follow people that make you grow. I don't know. I follow a guy from Germany that it's making ferments, and he's growing food in Berlin. He's just making all sorts of stuff from food he's growing in a small place in Berlin. So I really appreciate those kind of stuff, that effort that is to put really good content in your social media and not be just wasting your energy in just watching weird stuff or stuff that it's not making you grow.
You said it very succinctly that some of the things that you see on social media are worthwhile, but it's really a matter, I think, of quality and not quantity. And you see
Yeah.
some people, these prolific influencers that just post anything and everything out there. And I really don't care what you're eating for breakfast. It just doesn't matter. Don't take a picture of yourself on the toilet. It's not necessary, people. Well, Jose, we need to wrap up today, but I wanted to thank you very much for taking the time. You have a beautiful part of the world, and it's one of the countries I've not been to yet. So I look forward to coming to visit. I want to go see the dog refuge farms in the mountains and visit you
Yeah,
and tasting your
Territorios
wonderful
Aguates.
food. Yes.
Yeah, man, you're more than welcome. This is a beautiful part of the world, and hopefully you can make it and come and enjoy our beauties, man.
Thanks so much, Jose.
Thanks, Eric.
That's it for this episode of the Eat Well, Travel Better podcast. This episode is brought to you by the World Food Travel Association and its Culinary Capitals program. We'd like to hear from you regarding the podcast. We invite you to share your ideas, questions, and thoughts by emailing us at help@worldfoodtravel.org, or you can connect with us and comment about the episode on major social media platforms. Special thanks to our guest, Jose Gonzalez, and our thanks to you for joining us. I'm Eric Wolf, wishing you a safe, happy, and productive month ahead.